confirm that report from this morning that Potter's out for the year?
Yeah, he's out for the year, unfortunately. Requires surgery, his injury, and he's going to get that Thursday of this week. Probably looking at a 3 to 4 month recovery process. So it's unfortunate. Obviously, huge loss for us. Our heart goes out to the kid because he was just playing so well. But we have to and will always do what is best for our players' long-term success and future. And we collectively felt like this was the best course of action for him and his future. But he will make a full recovery. It's not anything that's threatening to where he won't be on the ice flying around when he's healthy. So, we're really, really bummed for him. But I think the other piece of it is we still really like what we have, and we like how we're playing, and it's a great opportunity for guys to step up, and they will.
When you say obviously probably got multiple opinions, but was there an option of maybe just rehab and no surgery?
There was an option of that, but I think, when you take everything into consideration and the ability to get it fixed and ensure long term there's not going to be any sort of issue, that's what we wanted him to do, and he wanted him to do.
What does that mean for the rest of your forward group this weekend? Are you getting anybody?
Yeah, we still like what we have down the middle. It's just a great opportunity for guys like Smolen and McGurn, and who's now back to 100%, and Logan Morrell and Braxton Whitehead to step up, and guys to play with guys like Lush and Shim. It's a great opportunity, and they're completely capable. If it's Smolen, he's a kid that had 30 points in the NCHC as a sophomore. He can do it. He had more points last year than Potsy did. So we're still confident. We're still confident. We believe in whoever it's going to be to take over. Is he a tough guy to replace? Of course he is, right? He's dynamic, and he pushes the pace and drives the play better than almost anybody in the country. So it's going to be different, but we still believe that we have everything we need to have success.
What's Shimmick's timetable?
It's good. We anticipate very likely him being available. It probably won't be decided until a little later in the week to make sure, but we don't anticipate him missing any more time, and if he does, it would probably only be this weekend. But we're very hopeful that he'll be in the lineup on Friday.
With all these injuries to the team, what have you seen from the rest of your forwards and their ability to step up?
Look at since really Duluth, Dowder went out, Smolen went out, and we've had McGurn out, Beck out. It's Keener, Waldron, now Potsy. Shim was out in the Miami win, so it's been a tough month and a half, from an injury standpoint. But from a results standpoint, it's been our best month and a half. So it speaks to the depth that we have. It speaks to the belief that we have in every guy in that room to step up in moments when we're shorthanded, and they've done it. And there's no reason why that should change or will change moving forward. That's not the mindset. We're not going to suck our thumb and feel sorry for ourselves. We're gonna keep pushing forward and try to make a push here with an unbelievable team and opportunity coming in this weekend. And that's exactly what the focus is and what the mindset is.
With guys having to have stepped up, like you said, not that as a coach you've always had the freedom to, throughout past seasons you've mixed up lines and having depth helps that, but what have you seen from this group chemistry-wise that mixing up lines, they won't really skip a beat?
I don't know. I think it just speaks volumes to the leadership we have, and the job the captains have done, gelling the guys. Most importantly, as a group, away from the rink. So it doesn't really matter. You can ask Shim and Lush, like who do you want to play with, and they'd be like, we don't care. I could put Whitehead with them. I could put Morrell. I could put Smolen. I could put McGurn. They don't care. They're comfortable with any of them. They believe in any of them. And that's important, So will their line look different? Yes, but will it still be incredibly effective? Absolutely. Whoever gets to play with them is obviously, is going to treat it like they won the lottery. It's two of the top, 7-8 scores in the country.
Do you have any idea who you'll put up to play with them?
I don't know yet. We're going to try some things in practice this week. But no, I don't know quite yet.
How was
Sorry, kind of a similar thing that you were going through at the beginning of last season. What's the biggest coaching takeaway you had from that that's you can kind of carry into this?
From last season?
Yeah.
Oh, the injury. Yeah, I mean, I think the difference was last season. You know, when we started the year decimated. I mean, just decimated, and it was early. It was too early to have that identity formed and mindset where, you know, guys needed to step up because really roles weren't totally established. Where this season, you know, happened to us, you know, in mid-December through a gauntlet stretch of their schedule, and we've gotten through it. You know, and so, you know, the parallels really aren't that similar. But you know, that's why moving forward we have so much confidence because we've already been through it. You know, and it hasn't been Potsy, but and he's a big reason why we got through it. But it's been other guys, and like I said, you know, it's such a great opportunity for guys to step up, and I'm excited for them, and I know they will.
How has that Morel line in particular stepped up in this stretch?
They're our identity line. They're big, they're hard, they're tough, they forecheck, they're heavy on pucks. You know, they're responsible defensively, they're good on the wall. They're our identity line. You know, we go as they go. You know, and internally, that's what we say. Like, you're our identity line. The other line has been a great scoring line, you know, or dynamic and unbelievable what they do. But, you know, we generally win our games when that line is doing what they do best.
As you head into the final weekend of this January home stretch, what have you learned most about your team?
Yeah, they're just resilient, and I think when we're playing loose and we have belief and we're having fun and they're playing for each other, we've already proven we can beat anybody in the country. These guys are really good. We know how good they are. We've already played them, but we've also already beat them. So we're excited for them to come into our building, and they're coming off a loss. They're going to be really good. And they're going to be dialed. They're going to be hard. And as far as I know, they're pretty much, you know, fully healthy, minus a kid that they've had out for the most of the year. So they're going to be a handful, you know. But for us, you know, we moved up this weekend in the MPI, which was great without even playing. The margin between really 24 and 15 is so minuscule right now, that with a successful weekend, we're really in a position where we can make hay here at home, you know, and that's the focus. It's not, there's no moral victories because we got guys out. You know, two of the top players in our league, and Colin Potter and Jack Beck, are out for the year, and we can make that the story, or we can make how we respond to that the story.
How have you learned from last season when you missed the tournament by that much, and how have you brought that to the team, and how have the veterans brought that?
We drew on that in the margin, the razor thin margin at the start of the year, all preseason, and why every game matters, every touch matters, every shift matters, and what would have happened if, you know, we didn't give up a goal in the last minute at Air Force, So we've already done that. You know, this is a much different team than last year. It's way younger, it's way more inexperienced, you know, at every position. And so with this group, once it became about this group and really what this group had to do and the identity that this group needed to play with to have success, things have changed for us in a really good way. It took a little longer than we had hoped this season, but we're there. We're within striking distance. We don't have a fighting chance. We have a legitimate chance to still do what we wanted to do when we set out to start the year, and to do it with this young group. You know, a lot of these guys will be back next year. It's awesome. You know, it's just something we can springboard off of.
One more question.
How rare is it in college hockey to have two of your top six forwards out for an entire season and then still try to make a playoff push playing?
Yeah, I mean, it's rare, but I think it speaks to our depth and belief, and you know, I mean, boy, it seems like a year ago we had, you know, Jack back in, you know, and he only got to play 10 games. So we're just thrilled that you know, he's going to be back next year, and but those are two dynamic, really high end players that would be difference makers for anybody in the country. So yeah, and I think it just, again, our player leadership, the job that Smoley and Cruz and Shim and Bose and McGurn have done keeping this group together. All the credit goes to them, and they're an unbelievable group of kids that have provided a ton of leadership, and that's why the belief's there.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
Coach. Kyle, obviously the news with Cole Potter being out for the year, how big of a loss is that for you guys?
It's detrimental. It's going to be hard. He was a great guy and an unbelievable teammate, and he did a lot for us. And he's still going to be around. He's going to help this team in other ways. He might not be on the ice, but he's going to help us no matter what. He's always going to be there for us. That just means other guys are going to have to step up, and we're going to have to find a way to win regardless.
With how many injuries you guys suffered last year early in the season, what did you and the rest of the returners kind of learn from that time period, and how can you kind of use that going into this last stretch of the season?
Just kind of next guy up mentality. Like, everybody has to be ready. Everybody's got to be hungry for their opportunity and their shot, because you only get so many opportunities like this to step up and make a difference for a team like this. So you got to seize the moment.
Coaches, obviously talked about the depth, and with injuries, guys like you just said have had to step up, but he's always had the kind of option to mix up the lines, but the depth. With that happening now, how do you look for guys to just step forward, maybe being on a different line together?
Yeah, it's about finding your role a bit. You know what I mean? Like, you might be on fourth line one night, you might be on the second line another. You're never gonna know what coach is gonna do, but whatever he asks you to do, you have to do to the best of your ability. If you're put as a third line, fourth line guy, you have to buy into the role of being a third line checking forward. If he has you on the second line, well, don't lose that role of being a checking forward, but go make some plays and produce on the minutes that you're given. It's just kind of about accepting the role and buying into it. Doesn't matter where you're at in the lineup.
Ben, you were in the top 6 to start the season. You kind of shifted towards the bottom 6. Do you think this is an opportunity for yourself to kind of get back into that role?
Yeah, it's a good opportunity for me. The circumstances that led to it happening are unfortunate, but I've had a lot of good talks with Coach Powers, Coach Hixie, and Coach Dana about just kind of seizing my moment and finally kind of getting another opportunity at a top 6 role. So I'm excited to kind of try to seize it and make the best of it.
For both of you guys, with how many newcomers were on the team this year, how have you just seen the entire team gel together to give you that belief heading into this point of the season?
At this point, we're close knit. Starting off, it's hard. Trying to figure out what's everyone about. What do they like to do, like the little stuff like that. But at this point, when you're with each other in the trenches every day, it becomes natural. At this point, it's about kind of figuring out who you're playing with, because it's so different all the time now, and just kind of figuring out their play styles and how to gel that way, if that makes sense.
Kyle, with Potter now going down, went down earlier, that was 2 guys on the power play. How does that affect everything?
The power plays, it's crucial. You're going to get only a couple chances a game to, make a difference. But our coaches statistically have always had a good power play, and I believe in them that they're going to put the right personnel and do the right in the right situation, and the guys are going to execute. It doesn't matter who's in that situation. The guys are going to step up and do their job.
Ben, what have you learned from your first few months of playing NCHC hockey, and what did you kind of take away from what the rest of the returners told you going into conference play?
It's definitely hard. Every game's a battle, and every game feels like a playoff game. Just kind of going into it, that's what Smoley would say, Cruz would say, Shim would say, and it's definitely true. Like, every game is a battle, every game's hard, and just learning the ropes of kind of, always giving your best. Even if you don't have your A game, you got to bring a B game, and that's the most you can do every night.
How has this North Dakota team evolved since you've last seen them?
They're always getting better. They're always finding ways to beat really good hockey teams, and I think that's something that we can adopt, is finding ways to win. Really against really tough teams. It doesn't matter how ugly it is. It's just finding ways to win.
And to piggyback off that, obviously playing the second 2-game series coming off Miami, what's the challenge in that? Because obviously both teams aren't going to change too much who they are, but just what's the challenge playing them the second time?
I don't want to say one specific thing. It's a number of things, but I think it's more centralized around us. You know what I mean? Like, focusing on keeping the puck out of our net and scoring goals in crucial moments. I think that's where we need to grow as a team. I don't think we need to focus so much on what they do. I think we need to worry about more ourselves and looking inward.
First time Gibby's back in Mola in an opposing jersey. What did you kind of take away from the first time facing him as an opponent?
Nothing in particular, really. I mean, at the end of the day, he's an opponent, and you just go out there and you got to do what you got to do to beat him.
The NPI margins are so thin right now between like 25 and 15. What do you guys need to do to kind of narrow that gap so you're not on the outside of the bubble as you have been in the past?
Find some regulation wins. I think that's what it comes down to. It's what it boils down to, is finding ways to win in regulation against good hockey teams consistently.
In the month of January, you guys are going to have 6 games at home. How big is this homestand to making that final postseason push?
Crucial. We got to bank some wins against really good teams like this. We have to win in regulation, and we got to make them feel it.
Coach mentioned how you guys were bruised during this gauntlet run. How do you think that speaks to your team being able to overcome these injuries?
It just shows our resiliency. It shows, the makings of a really good hockey team that can make a run. It's just, how do we make that a consistent thing day in and day out, and find a way to carry it into this back half? If we can carry it into the back half, we can get in and we can make hay.
Ben, for you, you've played with a bunch of different guys recent history, with Kyle being one of them. Now with Potter's injury, that's probably going to be a different combination. What's that been like for you?
I honestly, it helps me a lot, just kind of getting to know different guys on the team. As Smoley said before, I mean, things can change in an instant, all depending on the night before. So just kind of getting to know how players play and getting like live reps with them, especially in practice and in games, it definitely helps me kind of learn the way that players play, and it helps everyone.
All right, thank you.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, guys.